The dugong is one of the few herbivorous marine mammals still remaining in the world. This species is a familiar sight to any inhabitants or tourists who visit the coastal waters of the world's tropical regions. It moves through the water with a slow, languid pace and chews up the grass on the bottom of the ocean floor to survive. Its herbivorous lifestyle and moderate temperament have earned it the nickname of the sea cow or the sea pig. Though not yet endangered, the dugong may be vulnerable to human activity and coastal development. It is believed that dugongs and the closely related manatees were sometimes mistaken for the legendary Greek mythological figures, the sirens, by some European sailors traveling far from home. This is the reason why their order was given the name Sirenia. They may have been mistaken for mermaids as well. The dugong is an animal that has been an important part of some marine cultures for thousands of years. A 5,000-year-old cave painting that depicts a dugong was discovered in Malaysia. Dugongs have become important tourist attractions. Their passive and gentle nature allows swimmers to observe them closely in the wild. Due to their specific dietary requirements, dugongs are almost never kept in captivity by humans. Dugongs may only give birth once every 3 to 7 years. Dugongs are large, elongated animals with a downturned snout and thick brown or gray skin. The technical term for the body shape is fusiform. This means their bodies are shaped like a spindle that is tapered at the ends. Dugongs can measure anywhere between 8 and 10 feet in length and up to 1,100 pounds in weight. Their immense weight is owed to the thick layers of fat surrounding their bodies to comfortably insulate them when the water turns cold. They are powered through the water by moving their dolphin-like fluked tails up and down, while their paddle-like front flippers help them steer and maneuver. They lack both hind limbs and a dorsal fin. Despite their aquatic nature, dugongs share the same traits as other terrestrial mammals in almost all characteristics, including the structure of the skeleton and the presence of mammary glands directly under the fins. Apart from the usual sexual characteristics, there is little difference between male and female dugongs. Both sexes have long tusks projecting from their incisor teeth. Their ears, which lack any external flap, are located on the sides on the head. One of the dugong's biggest weaknesses is its poor eyesight, but this is made up for with its sharp hearing and olfactory senses. The primary means of communication with other dugongs include chirps, whistles, and barks. Each sound seems to have a specific purpose in conveying aggression or affection to other members of the species. They also have bristles all over their bodies and around the face to help them forage for food at the bottom of the seabed. Despite the strong adaptations for their marine habitats, dugongs can only stay underwater for around 6 minutes at a time before they need to return to the surface for breath. They will sometimes breathe by poking their head above the water while standing on the sea bottom with their tails. Valves in their nostrils will close during dives to prevent water from entering. Dugongs are considered to be social creatures that prefer the company of others, and yet they have no set social group. They often travel alone or in pairs but will also gather into huge herds of hundreds at a time. Because the habitat cannot support large groups for long, these herds will form quickly and then dissipate. They are nomadic creatures that may travel immense distances around their natural habitat in search of food and resources. However, many other aspects of the dugong's behavior remain a mystery. The dugong inhabits the nearby warm coastal regions of the Pacific and Indian Oceans. Its range is very large but also fragmented. This includes the eastern coast of Africa, Madagascar, the Persian Gulf, the coasts of India and Sri Lanka, and the Pacific region around Southeast Asia and Australia. It is also believed that they might have once inhabited the Mediterranean Sea many thousands of years ago. Dugongs are often found in bays, mangroves, estuaries, and other shallow water around continents and islands. They prefer to graze in the water around 30 feet deep, but they can dive down to more than 120 feet for short periods of time in search of food. Some populations have also been known to frequent reefs or deeper waters for safety, despite the lack of food in these areas. Dugongs have adapted a herbivorous lifestyle that largely revolves around the consumption of seagrass. They have the option to either feed superficially on the leaves or attempt to dig up the entire plant by the root. Less commonly, they will consume algae when seagrass cannot be found. Some populations will resort to consuming invertebrates such as shellfish, sea squirts, worms, and jellyfish, especially those hiding along the seagrass. Dugongs float across the bottom of the water to search for grasses with their bristled snouts. Their muscular lips help them suck up large quantities of food at a time. Their feeding behavior actually leaves behind large furrows on the seabed that can be seen from the surface. Dugongs are active foragers during both day and night hours. They need to consume large quantities of food every day to survive. Due to their docile nature and relative lack of defenses, a single dugong can make a tempting target for a number of hungry predators. Their one true defense is their immense size, which allows them to fend off all but the largest creatures such as sharks, crocodiles, and killer whales that patrol the coasts. The young calves are most vulnerable to predation since they are almost completely defenseless in their first few years of life. Many dugongs also die from diseases and parasites in large numbers. This is perhaps the largest threat to their survival besides human activity. Humans have traditionally hunted dugongs for thousands of years due to the value of their oil, skin, and meat. Dugongs have often thrived in spite of this human predation. But with the rise of industrialized hunting in the 18th century, the species was placed under increasing duress. The species is now better protected from wanton hunting by international laws, but it still faces several other threats. Habitat loss from coastal development and water pollution is a persistent problem. Oil spills, chemical runoffs, and radiation make some parts of the coastal region uninhabitable. Dugongs may also become entangled in nets or get into an accident with marine vessels. Underwater noise may disturb the dugong's natural behavior or cause distress. Finally, climate change may alter the animal's habitat to the point of irreversible damage.